All right, welcome to another episode from the chart readers, and there's nothing better than when a stock does what you're expecting it to do. All right, NVOS, I was talking about hitting the 50s. It pretty much wicks to my line off by a penny. You know what I mean? So a fantastic day. Look, the day didn't end as strong as it could have or should have. And to me, I think that's a little bit telling for my decisions tomorrow, all right? I will be honest with you. I definitely sold some of my shares. I for sure sold them in the 50s like I was planning to. And that's the beauty of this is you make a plan, you execute it. And look, if it keeps going up, it's all right. You hit your plan. And if it goes down, hell yeah, it goes down, but hopefully after the plan, right? So that's what we're going to talk about here. Look, with TTOO, I'm still holding all the comments that I've held for the last few days, all right? A lot of people got really excited yesterday. I very much didn't. I said it on a couple different places that, look, yesterday was nice. Today matters more, and I think today was the real truth of it, all right? So that's what we'll talk about there. And look, Mullen's trying to make a little bit of a move, and it's what we've talked about. If it can get over the 8, hopefully it'll go to the 20, and that's kind of what we're watching here. And then CLOV was a viewer request that I wanted to throw in as well, so I will put some time into that one as well. But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the day. We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines, as well as the occasional diagonal trend line that you will see me draw. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh man, I appreciate you so much, all right? So look, let's get into NVOS, and there's a lot of good to talk about, all right? On Monday, one of the big things I said was there's a lot of reason to believe we were going to come to this 55 line, all right? And I mean, like I said, we pretty much wick it, missing it by a penny, right? As I click into it, you can see over there the high of the day was 0.54, my line being 0.55, right? And really, where did that come from? Because again, where did that come from, right? Because there's a whole mess of nothing right here. As I zoom out and I zoom out and I zoom out, there's a whole mess of nothing and nothing and nothing, right? So we made that 0.55 line off the weekly chart, right? It came from, roughly speaking, half of this big thing. All right, and I often say it, my lines aren't here to be perfect. Is this actually the perfect midpoint of this? No, probably not, but close enough will make you or save you a lot of money, all right? And I hope that this 55 line is actually a good representation of that. But listen, this thing did exactly what it needed to do. I'll be honest with you, in the Discord, I already know this because, again, obviously I know this, right? 0.26 stink, all right? Boom. 0.26 stink bid, all right? I definitely was able to take advantage of that, right? And there are just things you can do to get yourself a good position even after buying right here and selling, buying right here and selling, buying. Like I'm telling you, you don't need to hold the whole way to make some good money. But yeah, if you've bought and you haven't sold, sweet Jesus, there's some good money to be made for you. So I am very happy for those that have held, and then for those that haven't, I hope you can see that you can come in and out and make some deadly money, all right? So what am I expecting now? Look, I'll be honest with you, it's a little difficult to really decide what I think is going to happen, all right? I do think that this wick is a little telling. Normally, I put very little emphasis on these. I care more about the body itself. I care more about these things. I care more about the movie. Like, there's a lot of things that I care about these. Like, a lot of things I care more about than insignificant wicks is what I generally call them. I think it's very telling that we went pretty much where I expected to and then rejected really hard. I do. And I actually saw it coming on the 15-minute. I saw it right here, and that's where I made my move. Over the 8, once it looked like we were ready to lose, it was game over. You know what I mean? And all we did was worked our way down, right? So that 15-minute chart was actually what really helped me personally make that decision to sell. Immediately, like I said, it's hard to decide right now because look, Again, just immediately where we're at, there is no resistances anywhere. All right, we're actually still here. There's still reason to make the argument that we might go from 44 to 55 again, basically adding another 25%, right? 11, 11, 11, 11. Well, you know, that's 25 right there, right? I feel like this is really telling me, look, we made it to the line we were expecting. A lot of people were also expecting this line. It wasn't just us. A lot of people made that sell. And I think we're going to come down a little bit if I actually had to guess. I don't know if we'll go much lower than 38. All right. I think 38 is an interesting line. All right. I will say we can go as low as 33. It's not quite 50% candle. It's kind of what again, you know, I don't know the math behind these lines, right? I've never pretended to be that smart and know the math. I just know that it's still going up. If I had to guess, look, I clicked on 34, right? Like if I had to guess, it's going to go up to like 33, 34. So like maybe we bounce on the 8 because we've been doing that. Bounce on the 8, bounce on the 8, lose it, right? But bounce on the 8, I can see another bounce. I can, right? And I like I said, I think I'm putting a little extra emphasis on this wick rejection more than I normally would. Because look, volume's beautiful. All right, MACD is beautiful. RSI is a little high at 78, but we're not even in the 80s yet. All right, and we already know that this thing knows how to get out of here. That's as high as you've gotten? Whoa, get out of here. What are you? 84. Damn, there's not a lot of 80 RSIs. I think that's actually really good. Not really good in terms of it's gonna like I think 38 makes sense. Where are we after hours? You know I don't care about after. Oh shit, we're going up. All right, interesting. Again, you know I don't care about after hours, and I just went back to saying like there's a lot of reason to argue going from 44 to 55 is still a thing. I can at least say I don't think we're going to break 55 just yet. I don't. I think we have just a little bit too high in RSI. I think we're going to need a cool down before that breaks. Again, the gap fill could fill even with that. I think knowing that our RSIs don't really get that high, I'm look, even seeing this post-market push up, I still actually think 38 cents is a realistic place for tomorrow, all right? I still have shares. I for sure did not sell everything. I think that'd be silly to do because, again, the weekly's still looking really good, right? Damn, weekly's getting at the high 80s as well. What were you at? 86. What were you at? Again, I'm clicking here. I'm looking at the box over there. I see the RSI is at an 83 here, but damn, all of these are super high. Interesting. Oh, man, this is... Again, weekly is signaling 96. I don't know if I'm putting a little too much emphasis. That 55 line, I'm telling you, I think that 55 line is scaring me and the wick is. I might be wrong. Right? Like I very much I think this cools down tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. I really listen, I was confident on Monday that we would get to the 50s. All right. I was confident after seeing Tuesday, today was going to be a good day. I was. All right. Today, my confidence isn't the same as Monday and Tuesday. And that's still seeing the post-market go. I'm telling you, I think post-market's an easy way to get fooled out. And maybe I'm ignoring a good MACD and a good RSI too much and putting a little bit of emphasis on this. Maybe I'm putting a little too much emphasis on the wick. I'm at least letting you know why I might be wrong. But yeah, I think we see a healthy cool down. When I say 38, I know it looks like a big drop down, but dude, 38's a very healthy number. Coming down to 38, still staying over the 8 moving average, bringing this from like a high 70 to a low 70, like go up, come down, rip, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to delete this downtrend as well. I think this is a really silly line to have at this point. Let me draw an uptrend just to draw it. So it started here. Oops. Take it to that. And then let's take it to that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, again, I think coming to here, 36. Maybe 36 is actually the lowest it goes. 38, I think 36 to 38. I think that's what I'm holding here. Let me know if you disagree. Healthy cooldown is just really what, oops, TTOO. TTOO. Let's get into here. Okay. All right, listen, I normally don't say this in the beginning of videos, but I think it's starting to become a little bit of an important one on this one. Listen, I am not here to spread fear. I am not here to make you do anything with your money. I never say buy, I never say sell. Like, I'm just here trying to be as unbiased and impartial as I can. And what lets me do that are these colorful lines, the 5 moving averages, the MACD, RSI, and volume, my little white manual line. Like, I'm just here letting these lines tell a story that I read to you, all right? I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen with the FDA. I read so many comments from so many people that the FDA thing is a lock, it's a guarantee. I very, very much believe it's a deadly thing to just blindly believe the FDA is going to say yes, all right? Believe me, I think the Moderna connection is huge. Believe me, I think it's big that the government reached out to them specifically to do, like, I see the words. I'm a very reasonable person, but when we're talking about stocks, I think reasonable thoughts are the deadliest things you can have. I'm telling you, what sounds logical to a regular person like you and me is more often than not the complete opposite thing that happens with the ticker. And that alone, I've been burned. I've lost so much money assuming this was going to happen only to watch that just eat my hard-earned money, right? So when I say I don't know that the FDA approval is going to happen, it's not like I'm sitting here rooting for it, all right? I want every single stock to go up. I want all my, the stock going up doesn't hurt me, right? Like, it only hurts me if I have money in it or not, right? So, like, I'm not rooting for bad things. That said, what I know today is there's no FDA approval and we're at the mercy of these moving averages. That's really what's been dictating my pessimistic views on the stock, all right? You hear me say it all the time. Bad things happen under the 8 and the 20, all right? We have now been under the 8 and the 20 for a long time, all right? We try to peak back up, but couldn't do it. Try to peak back up, but couldn't do it, right? Like, these two lines are no joke. A lot of people got really excited yesterday. You can see it as I click here. Yesterday was a 14% gain, all right? A lot of people were ready to start saying we're going into the 30s, this and that. Yesterday I said I don't believe just yet. I don't. And the really easy reason for me to say I don't believe was simply the fact that we were still under the 8 and the 20. All right. I feel comfortable saying bad things are going to happen because we're under the lines. If the stock does anything differently, believe me, my opinions are going to change. All right. But right now, I've been saying it for a while. I don't think this 50 moving average is going to hold. I really don't. I think it's all going to be about this 100 moving average that's sitting at 22 cents right now. I really think we're going to lose the 28 that we're at. I really think we're going to lose the 26 that the 50 moving average is sitting at right now. If you look at the box over there, I really think we're going to come down to the 100 moving average at 22. I might be very wrong. I've been saying it for a while. A lot of people have been disagreeing with me, and you know I'm not here to hate on your thoughts if you disagree. Like, disagreeing is where really healthy conversations happen. But right now, all I see is above, at the top, at the bottom, at the top, at this bottom. Not able to make it to the top, we're going to come to this bottom. Again, I've seen it a bunch of times. I am seeing 4 moving averages starting to move horizontal. This is what I call a horizontal moving average cluster, right? Like, all we're doing, we are at the mercy of 4 of the 5 lines, right? Like, the 5th one ain't that far away either, but yeah, there's not much more I can say. MACD is about to slip into the negative. All right, I'm zooming in. We're actually under the dashed line. That dash is the true 0 line. So if we had another decimal or two, this thing would probably be negative 0.001 or something, right? But we're under the dashes, okay? RSI is for sure at 32, and on general stock, 32 means it's too low and we need to go back up. Don't forget the realities of this stock. It wasn't that long ago. We had an RSI of 3. Of 3. All right, we're at 30. I'm not here saying it's going to go back down to that single digit. But even this right here, what are you? This is an RSI of 11. It wasn't that long ago that I was just living in this teen world of RSIs, and that's still a decent fall. What are you? What's your little peak here? 32. All right. Yeah, I'm telling you again, I might be wrong about the 50 moving average. I very well, maybe this will be strong enough to hold it. I just don't see it. And I think a lot of the reason is, like I said, we were at the top. We go to this bottom. We go to the top. We get stopped here. That's a good thing. We unfortunately couldn't go back to the top. We get stopped right here. 22. I'm still saying 22. And again, there's a lot of pressure on 22 because let's just zoom out. Let's just zoom out. This 100 moving average line, this blue line right here, has actually been a very, very difficult line. All right, we kind of do something right here. We have a fake wick here. We very quickly went up. We might very quick. Like I'm not here hoping for bad things. I'm not here hating on things. I just do really believe we're going to come to 22 cents for all the reasons that I just outlined out there. All right. Yes. Do I believe that if the FDA comes and gives some good news, good things will happen? Yeah, for sure. Do I know that I have absolutely no idea when that will happen? Yeah, I do know that. Right. And to me, what I do know is the movement of the lines, right? Not when someone's going to say thumbs up or thumbs down. So, where's the weekly at? Look, again, the weekly is also signaling I want to come down here. All right, this you can see it. The average 20 is at 21 cents right here. It's at 22 cents right here, right? Like there's a lot of reason to believe we might lose another, 6 cents, roughly 20% more from where we're at, right? So just be careful because again, I'm just roughly using 3 cents as that 10-cent marker, right? So I think there's more. The last thing I just want to call out, dude, this is bad volume. All right. We have been so far from that 50 average for a while now. Again, 33 million is a lot for most stocks, not for TTOO. It's actually a very, very, very insignificant number because we need to be 130, not just 30, right? So, yeah, I think there's more reasons to not like this than to like this, but let me know your thoughts and opinions. Let's take a look at MULN. All right, MULN, listen, this is the thing that I talked about in the last video. I will be honest, I still have no money in this thing. I really don't, because end of the day, I'm still not a believer. But one thing I said was, look, we go away from the 8, we go to the 8. Hey, sometimes we actually go away from the 8 to the 8 and then maybe up to the 20 moving average. All right. Right now, the goal kind of is to go from down here to maybe right here, 58 cents. All right. From this 50 mark that we're at, it's not quite 20%, right? 10 cents would be, but that's not a bad little movement right there to say the least. All right. So, that said, do I think we're going to break it? I don't know. I really don't. MACD looks all right. RSI looks really weird. And man, I know we have 3 days of green candles, but dude, come on. We got to break volume. We got to break the 50-day. We need a couple consistent 100 million shares traded, right? I generally use 7 hours as my trade. Like we need 14 million shares that first hour. That's like, if you see that happen, I think that's a good sign that MULN's going to have a good day. All right. Otherwise, yeah, I got to believe we're going to fail the 20. Why? Because that's all we've been doing. Before this split, all we've been doing is going under the 8, coming to the 20 and failing. Under the 8, coming to the 20 and failing. Under the 8, coming to the 20 and failing. Under the 8, coming to the 20 and fail. All right. Like, I have to believe it's going to do the same thing until it proves me otherwise, all right? And one real problem that I see is it looks like the RSI reset itself, but the wrong way. Generally, we talk about the 80 resetting it down to 60 to go back to 80. It seems like the RSI was super low, it was at 17, made its way back up to 50, and is ready to go back down into the 7. Like, the RSI too over bots that we try to do a healthy cool down. This is the opposite of a healthy cool down. This is kind of like a healthy fake out so it could keep going lower. You know what I mean? And that's a bad thing for sure. But yeah, end of the day, the MULN stock is all about the 8 and the 20. If The day that this thing gets over the 20 moving average and confirms, it's a brand new stock in my eyes. For now, all I can do is expect it to do the same thing. Under the 8 to the 20, under the 8 to the 20. Maybe it passes it, maybe. But since that little moment right there, all we've been doing is under, right? So it knows how to do it. It's been pretty much the entire year under it, right? So let me know your thoughts and opinions here. There's not too much I can else say. Like the weekly's not looking that great. Like it's really, this is a day-to-day chart, and it's all about the 8 and the 20 in my opinion. All right. Last one I want to look at is CLOV. All right, listen, I saw the potential with CLOV. I really did. Let me delete these lines and kind of draw the new ones real quick. Delete all lines. Okay. People brought CLOV to me, I believe, on Monday. All right. And I saw why, right? If we were already over it, we were pretty much on it. If we were able to get over this, red, green, right? Like we were already over all the moving averages. You hear me say it, break all 5 and fly, right? Like there was a lot of reasons to really believe that this thing was going to do. I thought CLOV was a fantastic viewer request. I do apologize for not being able to cover this one sooner, in all honesty, all right? Really, I think Tuesday was very indicative that today was going to do what it did. All right. Again, Monday breaks 2 moving averages on a single candle. It's really hard to break 1. It's that much harder to break 2. If you're going to break 2 on a single candle, I expect the next day to be big. This was a doji, you know it doesn't count. And more than anything, the doji wasn't up here. It was down here. I didn't like that. All right. Yes, it physically was still over the 2 lines, but it wasn't over the candle. And that is not what I want to see, especially. I think I would have been a little more flexible with that if it was only a single moving average break. All right. That said, that sucks. And look, I think this is a beautiful emphasis of why, look, dojis don't count. And even if the doji finishes above that candle, if you're going to break 2 moving averages and you're going to give me a doji, I'm expecting you to come up here. Otherwise, you're just going to kind of come down, right? So I think this was the real first doji. Yeah, there's a lot of reason to be scared. I think there's actually more reason to believe we're coming down to 106. It is all about the 50 moving average. All right, you can see it in the box over there. We close at the green number on top, 122. The 50 moving average is sitting exactly at 122. We were just caught by the line, and tomorrow either comes up to 126 or, sorry, zoom in and out so much, or tomorrow falls down to that. It's either 126 or 116. I think there's very little chance for an in-between on the two, all right? The last real thing to say, man, volume's ugly. Volume's real ugly. 2 things are ugly. Number 1, the 50-day average used to be up here at 10 million. It's now working its way down to 6 million. We've reduced 40% of the volume. That's not good. Number 2, look at all these reds. There are far more people selling by the end of the day than buying by the end of the day. Like that's not good, you know? MACD looks like it's going to go into the negative. RSI has been pretty much flat. I saw why this was brought to my attention. I thought that this was a really good stock. Monday did a really good setup. Monday did the same thing this one did too. Like I like the fact that it did it relatively recently, right? It just couldn't confirm, and it's really why I keep stressing confirmation is king. All right, so let me know your thoughts and opinions. You know it as always. Thank you.